Good morning, gamers. Welcome into the Gamers Roast podcast. I'm your host, Joshua J. Alongside me, Wesley Lance.
Guten Morgen.
What?
It's German.
I know, but I just wasn't expected. So
I'm tired of just saying good morning.
We're here to bring you everything we know about gaming, and everything that we don't, we'll just speculate on because we love speculating. It's a lot of fun.
Speculation is a lot of fun until you get it wrong, and then everybody gets mad at you.
That's true. That's true. But today's October 7th, and we have a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. Real quick for the daily grind, just want to get this out there. We are recording this ahead of Thursday, so we know the Nintendo. What is the
Smash Direct is happening?
Yeah, the Smash Direct. So we don't know what that is. So we're not really going to be able to talk about that simply because it's happening in our future and your past. So yeah,
through the magic of movie magic.
So I had to get that out there. But if you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. And if you're watching on podcast, there is a donation button down below. If you'd like to hit that, we'd love it. If not, totally cool. Share it with people. It's on all podcast platforms. We'd love other people to listen and to watch and everything like that. So, football.
Yeah.
I was totally off.
Wait, seriously?
Yes. The Jaguars actually made it a very close game and played pretty well.
Did they lose though?
They lost.
Okay, so you got the winner right.
So I got the winner right, but it was I think by a touchdown or something like that, or 3 points.
Michaela actually looked up the score because we were listening to this, I think, Saturday. Yeah, we were listening to it Saturday, and so she was like, I wonder what the score was. So she looked it up. She's like, oh, it's a lot closer than he said it was going to be.
Yeah, it definitely was. But hey, that's okay. So this week, I'm just going to not give a score. I'm just going to say what I think they'll win by. So I'm going to say, because it's the Chargers versus the Seahawks.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Russell Wilson and the Seahawks by 7. So I think they'll win by 7. So there you go.
We're gonna make the odds a little bit better.
Yes, maybe I'll actually get this one correct.
Less specific. Someone's going to win, and it will be by an amount of points.
Exactly. It's there you go. Now you can not lose.
Now I'm always winning. Now I'm always winning.
But let's hop into the coffee of the week real quick. And this is a Kalamazoo coffee company. It's the Killer Beans Dark Roast.
I don't like the artwork
from Papua New Guinea.
It weirds me out.
I don't know if y'all can see it on the camera that well, but yeah, it's a dude with I think a cup of honey
he's like stealing the honey from the killer bees
for his coffee, and he's like running from the killer bees. So, but hey, we have a few killer bees here in the U.S. apparently. So thanks 2020.
Well, I think they were gone. That was old news, man. That was before that headline. I think was before even COVID.
Yeah,
I think no, it wasn't. No, it was right. After.
I don't know. That year was so messed up.
I know.
Anyway, aliens got leaked, everything. So anyway,
Kalamazoo Coffee Company.
Yeah. So I'm excited to try it real quick.
Yeah, it's a fairly local. Like we're in northern Indiana. They're Michigan, but Kalamazoo's a couple hours away. So here we go. Kalamazoo Coffee Company. Ooh, wow. That's really strong.
Yeah. It was definitely more bitter than last week's coffee.
Yeah, the smoothness of the Kaya Kopi is definitely not there. I like it though. So the weird thing,
good. You can tell the difference of prices though.
You can. You definitely can.
It's sad. I want my Kaya Kopi coffee.
See, so it's kind of hard for me because the Kaya Kopi was a little cold by the time I got it last time because we'd let it steep so long to let the ground. So the fact that this is like still really, really hot helps the flavor a lot.
It does.
No, it's nice and strong. Tastes a little burnt, just a little over roasted. But overall, I mean, it's a solid cup of coffee. How much did this cost you?
This whole bag, 12 ounces, cost me like $9.
Okay. Well, okay. So that's only a little bit less than like Pete's coffee, which I feel like Pete's coffee is better. I really like the flavor of Pete's. So, I mean, it's definitely not bad.
I don't got my handy dandy board.
Oh yeah, that got taken away. I think somebody was cleaning out the studio and they were like, "No, this does not live here."
So what do you think though?
I'd go 5.5.
I could agree with that.
This is definitely a solid, like, if you just need a cup of coffee in the morning, absolutely. It's good coffee. But as far as like the subtlety of flavors, and I'm not just talking about Kaya Kopi. Like I said, I like Pete's, and I even think Big B has a really nice flavor. This just kind of
I would almost rather get like a Starbucks brewed coffee.
No, I hate Starbucks coffee.
Really?
Starbucks coffee is like a 3 for me.
Dang.
you think it tastes burnt. Starbucks coffee always tastes burnt and old to me. I don't know what it is. I like their drinks. They're like specialty drinks are fine, but as far as their actual coffee goes, I will drink as long as only coffees I would rather have Starbucks over probably Folgers and Maxwell House.
Oh, I love Folgers, and that's just because I grew up with it. I started drinking coffee at the age of like 10. So, but no, I think it's okay. I think it's good. It's coffee. It's a cup of coffee. You know, like I said, 5 like you said, 5.5 if I can get that word out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say about it. Is it's a cup of coffee. It's not bad.
Did we ruin ourselves with that expensive coffee?
We might have. We actually might have spoiled ourselves.
That was so good. I want some more.
But anyway, it's good. It's good stuff.
So, all right. Well, let's move on to the roast of the week then.
Roast of the week. I think we're both in on it this week. You sent this to me. So, disclaimer. If you like the game Among Us, I have no qualms against you.
Agreed.
I dislike it. I've played it 5 or 6 times. I've never had a good time playing it, ever. Even with my family, I'm just like, I don't like this game. So I don't like Among Us. But if you do, that's fine. However, GameStop is currently selling a bundle for $90. It is the PS5 version of Among Us. So it's really taking advantage of those next-gen graphics. What all was included in it? I'm going to pull this up real quick. Sorry, I pulled up the other article we were talking about first. It is the Among Us. So there's different editions. I think the base edition is like $30.
But isn't it free on the phone?
Yeah.
And if I'm going to play this game, I'm going to play it on the phone.
You can. I think you can get it for like $5 on computer, and that gives you like all the skins and everything. So this, of course, my phone's not going to load it up. Oh, my word.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the game personally. Like we played it. I had a Thanksgiving deal one year, and we played it there. I played it
then, and I still didn't like it.
See, I liked it. I loved it. I loved being in a room with a bunch of people and playing Among Us and all that stuff. But then for $90 for a game that's free on your
finally
phone.
Loaded up. The $90 gets you. It loaded the first part of the page.
I know there was like a plushie.
You get a plushie. There was a little like custom designed little button, who wears buttons anymore, like a campaign button. It has a beanie, an imposter beanie. It has like an art book, I think. It has a blanket and a bunch of like posters and like a poster of the plans of the ship, all that stuff for $90. So it is like you get the game and you get a bunch of extras, but none of them feel like they're worth $90.
Yeah, like the art book's cool, the blanket's cool, like the beanie, sure, the plush, whatever. But like, I'm not going to drop I'd rather drop $90 on like the new Battlefield game coming out.
Yeah, with a couple extra skins and that sort of thing. And then you're going to get more longevity out of that.
Right. And then just playing this on my phone, because to me, it's a perfect phone game. It's a perfect game to play when you're just out and like, say you go on a trip and you and your friends are like bored, don't know what to do. Play some Among Us. That's the type of game that this is.
Yeah, and I guess this is the weird thing. So when you buy, let's say you buy like the premiere edition of Horizon Forbidden West, it's like what, 120 we said for the highest one. With that, you're getting an $80 game and probably about what's the difference there? That'd be about $40 of extras. And I would say that if you got an art book, and I don't really want an Aloy plushie, but it'd be weird. But like some kind of figurine and an art book and the soundtrack, that'd be about $40. You know what I mean? It's a cool box.
Yeah.
Among Us is free. The extras that they're including with this are not worth $90. A beanie, a plushie, a button, an art book, and like some posters. You could probably get all that for about $40 online.
Send me a real spaceship where I can play real Among Us.
If they had a scale model of the ship, that might be worth $90. But I just get the feeling that this is, and it's interesting it's being released right as the holiday season is coming up. I get the feeling this is being released for parents who know that their kids like Among Us. And so they're like, oh, I can get them the premiere edition of Among Us. And like, they'll be happy. And like, it's kind of preying on that sort of thing. Maybe not. I don't know. I go back and forth between assuming the best about people and assuming the worst about corporations. So, maybe they are being sincere, but it just feels like it's coming out right in time for parents to be looking for Christmas gifts. And they're like, oh, kids like Among Us, I'll buy this.
Well, maybe there are a lot of kids that they love Fortnite apparently, and that's trash. So
I have more fun playing Fortnite than I do Among Us. I could see a $90 Fortnite bundle.
I get too upset with Fortnite, and that's because I'm not good.
Shooter,
everyone can tell me I'm not good because I'm not, but the whole cranking 90s and stuff, like I can't do it.
What'd you say?
It's called Cranking 90s. It's where you build a bunch. You just start building up straight up, and so you just do like 2 walls and like a ramp, and you just keep bouncing yourself straight up in the air to get the high ground.
Cranking 90s. What's that you say, sonny? You kids and your slang and your fruit nets and the... Anyway.
Yeah. But no, I'm just not good at it, so I
will say, there was somebody commenting on that GameStop page that was like, does this come with the PS5? And I was like, for $90?
Yes, I will take it for $90. That would be... Like, I thought... When I saw the PS5 Among Us edition, I truly thought that it was an PS5.
Among Us PS5.
Yes. And I was like, well, that might be cool. Then it was $90. I'm like, that's not it. Maybe it just has, like, if it came with a skin for the PlayStation, like, if you could swap out the 2 panels.
That would be cool.
And put in, like, that might be worth it if you combined it with everything else that's in it.
Yeah.
If you really like Among Us and you want your PS5 to look like it, cool. But it doesn't. There's not really any extra panels for the PS5. So
do those panels even come off?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah. So you can pop those off, and people started making like the PlayStation 2 matte finish for them and stuff like that. And then Sony sued them because Sony's like, no. And then we're like, are you going to make some? And they're like, no. And we're like, well, then why not let us make our own?
Sony, what are you doing, man?
But
they were cool. They're even like not like, we don't do E3 anymore. That's for the peasants. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to call it State of Play, and everyone's going to have to tune in separately.
Which, hey, some of their games they came out with, though.
Yeah, but just show it at E3. Like, don't be that company. Don't separate yourself in that sense. Like, that just feels really snooty. I don't know.
Yeah. Like you said, corporations.
But there are like some corporations that seem, well, corporations don't have feelings. I can't say that corporations are like good people because they're not people.
Well, yeah. Some of the people that run them are good people.
Yeah, some of them.
Some of them are people. Half of them are robots.
Yikes. Okay. All right. I don't want to go there.
Lizard Illuminati.
I don't want to think about the coming robot apocalypse. Sorry. I'm just thinking of the news article about the Amazon drones that are out. Not just the drones that are like flying around. These are like robot dog. No, sorry. SpaceX has robot dogs that is patrolling their like launch bases.
That's crazy.
Like, wow.
Especially since Elon Musk doesn't really care for robots. He thinks that that's going to be our downfall.
What if he is a robot?
I would believe it. He's pretty crazy.
If he's a robot, that would make sense. He's prejudiced against other robots. He's a racist robot.
I love that rabbit trail. But we can't go down that far.
Yeah.
That's a different podcast.
We got other stuff to talk about.
But speaking of Sony, though, because that's kind of where we were at with the corporation and Sony.
Speaking of Sony, we're going to talk about Konami? Is that what you were going to reference?
Well, the fact that they bought out the Remake studio.
Right. Yes. Okay. So we've got several... I was wondering how you were going to get there. I was like, I know where we're going and I know where we are. How are you going to bridge there? Yeah. So this article by Joe Screbbles on IGN is talking about Konami is reportedly working on Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill games. It says Konami, but actually what it's saying is remake specialist Bluepoint. So we're going to start with this. Apparently that's who Sony bought. So this is anonymous publishing sources told VGC that Konami is refocusing on developing games within its best-loved series. Per those same sources, the first of these games will be a reimagining of Castlevania being developed primarily by internal Konami studios. So first-party Konami working on a reimagining of Castlevania. And we all know how reimaginings go. It's probably going to be amazing and no one will have any complaints at all. Anyway, we're moving on. Yay. The report also adds that Konami is planning remasters of the original Metal Gear Solid games for new consoles, as well as a potential full remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Many have speculated that remake specialist Bluepoint would work on an MGS remake, but VGC sources that it is being handled by Singaporean studio Virtuos, which previously worked on the Switch port of Dark Souls Remastered, among other projects. This is backed by game data analyst Millie A., who commented after Bluepoint's acquisition by Sony to say that the studio was in fact working on a remake alongside an original game, but it was not a Metal Gear game. Nobody said what it was. And then finally, VGC reaffirms that multiple Silent Hill games are in development, with one at a prominent Japanese developer. Many believes that Poland's Bloober team is at working on another Silent Hill game after a partnership between the two companies was announced. So, wow, that was a mouthful. We have Castlevania. Basically, we have Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, and Silent Hill coming up. Doesn't sound like Bluepoint is actually involved. A lot of people were speculating that after Sony acquired them, they would be. Bluepoint, we haven't had any confirmation. I'm going to kind of go. So I don't have a ton of it. I don't really have any experience with any of these series. I've played Super Castlevania on the SNES Classic a little bit. It was pretty fun. I know from experience that reimaginings tend to be very interesting.
Well, hey, maybe it'll give us a roast of the week.
It could be. I just feel like a lot of times reimagining is like, we're going to throw out everything you love about the series and start completely over, and it's not even going to look anything like the series you love, in which case, why even make it a Castlevania game? I mean, maybe not. Maybe they will stay true. Maybe Konami will stay true to the spirit of the original. I, again, don't have any super strong feelings either way, so it's not a big deal. I am excited for remasters of the original MGS games because I've never played them. I've always wanted to play the original. I almost picked up the original for PS1. They had it at a gaming store a while back when I had my PS3 with me, so I almost picked it up. I think you can also buy it on the PSN store, though, so... I'll probably just end up doing that. But a remaster would be cool.
It would. I think I might check out the Metal Gear Solid. I think that'd be kind of fun. Josh that watches, I know he's into Castlevania quite a bit.
Really?
So, hey man, comment below what you think this is going to look like. Like if you think it's going to be good, if you're excited for it, if you're just kind of like, like Wes is saying, it just kind of flops. But
yeah,
because I don't know much about Castlevania. I've not.
It's hard to say beforehand because, again, a reimagining could be really good or it could be really bad. I think technically Metroid Samus Returns is considered a reimagining of the original Metroid 2. So, and a lot of people liked that one. So it could be good. I think reimaginings work best when they're handled by the original developers, which is why it's good that it's being handled internally at Konami.
Right.
So hopefully they got some people that have worked on the series that will stay true to the original spirit of the franchise. And then the Silent Hill one was interesting. So, disclaimer, I hate horror games. I've never played a horror game. I have no interest in playing a horror game. I will not be touching maybe
House of Ashes?
Okay, maybe that one if we were doing it together. Maybe. But I would never play it on my own. What's interesting about Silent Hill is I believe I might get this one wrong. There was a game coming out, Silent Hills. So do you remember PT, the playable trailer that was available on the PlayStation Store for a while?
No.
So they released a teaser for Silent Hills that was called PT, and it was just this little it was a completely original game.
Oh, I did hear about that.
You walk through a hallway over and over and over again, and you try to solve these mysteries. And I believe Silent Hills was going to be directed by Hideo Kojima. I believe. Now, I might be wrong on this, so forgive me if I am. When he and Konami had a falling out, they completely scrapped development on Silent Hills, ripped PT from the PS Store, and it's completely gone. No one can play it anymore unless you already still have it installed on your console. And there are consoles that are being, like, you know how people were selling their iPhones with Flappy Bird on it for a while?
Right.
People were doing that with PS4s with PT on it for a while, like selling it for extortionate amounts because this game does not exist anymore.
It's so sad. Like the game could just, we don't know how many games are just scrubbed and thrown on the floor, left on the, like at the drawing board or left with just a concept. Like,
yeah. And Silent Hills sounded like it was going to be a big deal for the Silent Hill series. Again, I don't really have a lot of experience with them, but it's weird that they're coming back with a pretty, relatively unknown developer at the helm for Silent Hill, which is like one of the most storied horror RPG. Oh my word! Survival horror games in the genre. Like it kind of defined the genre in a lot of ways. That and Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. I'll be interested to see what people who like Silent Hill say about it because I will not be playing it.
Yeah, I've hopped into one or two of them. Not ever played all the way through. I just that isn't my thing either.
Yeah.
I do like like Man of Medan, House of Ashes, and things like that. Like those type of games are my horror games that I play. But I don't know. I hope they do good on it. I hope for the sake of people that like those games that they do good on it. And
it is nice to see another Silent Hill game coming out. I mean, it's been a while since the original, especially since Silent Hills got canceled.
Yeah, with like you were saying, the PT getting scrapped like that. I don't know. It just sucks because people made that game and then they got to see it out and they're like, yes, this is so cool. People love it. And then it to get just trashed is just sad.
Yeah.
But it's like throwing someone's painting away.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. And they're just like, nope, this doesn't exist anymore. Bye-bye.
But,
and it just, it kind of goes into a lot of game conservation too. Like there's a lot of people that are really passionate about media conservation. That's why we have things like archive.org. People just upload copies of old movies and music and PDFs of magazines because they're like, we need to conserve this stuff. And video game preservation is a new thing. It's why the battle about emulation is kind of weird, because if you have a copy of a ROM, you essentially have a copy of the game. And the problem with like hard copies and carts is they go bad eventually. But if you have a ROM, as long as you can keep copying it over to new storage, you're good. So that's why emulation is kind of a weird legal, because companies hate emulation, but game preservationists are like, this is like the best way to keep copies of these games.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, that's why some copies of old games have gone for like millions of dollars, because there's no way to keep them really.
Yeah.
So, but moving on from that, and like I said, I hope that obviously in the world of games, you hope every game that comes out is a hit. You know, it's not going to be.
I don't know. Sometimes it's fun when a game is just completely trash.
As long as it's not the game you've been hoping for.
As long as it's not your game, yes.
Like if Silent Hill got completely trashed, I wouldn't care. We'd talk about it. We'd have a roast on it. We'd laugh about it. But I'd feel so bad for all of you out there that do love like that game.
All of the people that bought Cyberpunk for PS4 that were like, so rest in peace.
I bought it on Stadia, and like I said, it looked beautiful. There was a lot of glitches. There was a lot of just like, but it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed playing through that game.
We brought up Cyberpunk again. At some point, people are going to have a checklist like, all right, Cyberpunk, No Man's Sky,
Battlefield 2042.
We're good.
Well, they're supposed to be coming out with the PS5 and Xbox Series X version for the Cyberpunk here soon, which if they do, that'll be really cool, because that hopefully will improve a lot of the graphics, get rid of a lot of the bugs, and then hopefully they actually do an add-on for the game that kind of branches off on some of the stories of the NPCs, because there's a few NPCs that you just fall in love with. Like, you just love the storyline. I mean, I know I did, but that's not what we're talking about today.
Sorry.
So, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out on, I believe, what is it, October 28th?
Yeah, I think it's late this month.
And that is one of the games I'm so excited for. But there's been reviews out, and one of the reviews, if you want to read it for yourself, is by Owen. Is that a C or a G? G.
Do you need your contacts? Do you need more coffee? Okay, let me take a look.
Look at the name.
That's a G.
That's a G?
Yeah, Owen Gao.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a G.
It was hard to.
There's a little line up. C's don't have that.
Yeah, but there's no line in, and G's have that. So anyway.
Wow. Okay.
Just
anyway,
read. So Guardians. Guardians of the Galaxy has been reviewed by quite a bit of people out there, like media influencers, stuff like that. Not us. We're small-time peoples. But
one of these
days. So far, and like I said, you can look this up on digitalspy.com, and we'll have a link to it below. You can read his whole review. But he spoke pretty highly of the game. And from the reviews that I can tell, that I've read and listened to, a lot of people are super excited for it.
Yeah.
So they aren't, from what I can tell, is it's not a game that's going to be the next Elder Scrolls 6, right? You're not looking for the next best RPG that you can find. Like, it's not going to be amazing. But I heard that it's going to be good enough. Like, that the way you expect them to act, they do. Like, Drax is still that witty, funny, kind of stupid character that...
witty and stupid at the same time. Well, yeah, it does sound like Drax, actually.
Yeah, it's just, like, he says funny, smart things without meaning to.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And so you play, for those of you that don't know, you play as Peter Quill, and it's more of like a command role for the other characters. So you can hit specialized buttons and have Gamora run in and do something, and then have Rocket do something, Drax, Groot, all these. You control what they do. And in one of the gameplays, in the preview that I read about, was that in the middle of the battle, Peter Quill, if you start doing enough combos and things like that, you can hit a button and everything around you kind of goes like a blackish purple type haze.
Okay.
And he pulls everyone together in a huddle, and you give them a pep talk. And if you do it correctly, then they get a boost for all of their like power-ups. And if you do it wrong, then not. And if you do it kind of halfway, it's like in the middle. But that to me sounds super cool.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's very
like
Guardians.
Yeah, you can like pull them all together, and then you're all talking to each other. And he's like, "Man, we can do this." And Rocket's like, "What do you mean we can do this?" And he's like, "No, trust me. Like we get done." You know, like and you have this dialogue that you can choose from.
Yeah.
And make this, make it easier for you to do all these combos and things like that. Kind of like I said, a power up. And I don't know. To me, that's cool. Like the commanding part of the game plus the third person shooter combat, which they said you go into first person when you do that.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Like you go into first person, you see them all kind of walk towards you and you huddle up and you start talking with them. And that just...
It seems like they really have nailed the spirit of Guardians of the Galaxy with this, which is really the key thing the difficult thing about making a video game that is not an original property that's based on someone else's IP is you don't have as much freedom to do whatever you want. Like when they were making, going back to Cyberpunk, when they were making that, they could do whatever they wanted. They could build their characters, they could make them as fleshed out as they wanted. Whereas when you've got Guardians, even if you're not, I appreciate that they've divorced themselves from the movie. It's like they've made their own universe. Problem is you still have the base elements of the characters from the comics that you have to stay true to.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not Guardians. So it sounds like they've found the nice balance between staying true to the spirit of the Guardians and also having the freedom to do whatever they want, which is what you want us to. And this is not just me saying that like, well, they've got to be true to the spirit. Like, you want a studio to have the freedom to do what they want to do because that's when creative people do their best work. Speaking as a writer, I've written in universes. I wrote a Doctor Who story one time set in that universe, and I had a lot of fun with it. But I was restricted to the characters I was dealing with.
Right.
The only established characters I had were the Doctor and Rory. This is way back. I don't usually do that stuff anymore, but I had fun with it. But when you're working in a universe, you are restricted by the rules of that universe. And so you want creative people, like people that work at game studios, to have as much freedom as possible to let their imaginations run wild. And so I was a little nervous when they said Guardians of the Galaxy, because I was like, okay, first of all, everybody's got the movies in their head, but then they said they're divorcing from the movies, which I'm happy about. But you've still got the elements of the Marvel universe you have to work through. And so I'm glad to hear that were able to strike a balance to keep that spirit alive and also still have the freedom to kind of do whatever they want. We watched a little bit of the gameplay. Was it E3 that they showed it, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was E3. Yeah,
it was one of the game conferences, but where they had to decide who they were going to sell, and you could decide whether you wanted to sell. Was it Rocket or Groot? One of the two.
Yep.
And I loved the way Rocket reacted when they picked Groot. Like, that was very true. That was more of the movie Rocket, but I've never read the comics, but like, I love the way Rocket reacted. And then I love this. I don't know. I love this story that they're building. I'm really excited to see it.
Well, and the coolest thing, okay, so when you look at the Marvel universe, so far I've been told that it's better than Marvel's Avengers game anyway. Already.
That one never really looked that interesting to me.
I bought it, tried it, didn't like it, and then it came out on Game Pass, and I was really bummed that I spent $60 on it, and I hated it. I only played it for like 5 minutes. Like, it's okay. I played it for longer than that. It was like 2 hours, but still,
yeah.
To me, when you buy a game for $60 and it just doesn't. It just sucks when it doesn't hit, especially when it's a digital game. So you can't even take it back. It's like but I think that Guardians are trying to take a note from Spider-Man. And with Spider-Man, we've had so many Spider-Man movies with different actors that it's one of those things where we're okay with whatever game comes out. We don't really care about the voice.
There really is no canon for Spider-Man.
Right. They make a good job of making Spider-Man, but whoever's behind the mask, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's why Miles Morales was such an amazing game, because it didn't matter who was behind the mask. It's all about the identity of Spider-Man, and Miles Morales could really bring that out. You know what I mean? And so I think we're getting there with all of the Avengers slowly.
Well, so we're gonna break boundaries a little bit here, but with the new phase of Marvel, with the MCU, with all of the Disney Plus shows, they really are saying, all right, this is a different universe now. Cap, Iron Man, Banner, Hulk, Black Widow, all these people, they're past. There's a new phase now. And they're kind of trying to break people of being so attached to their versions of these characters, especially with What If. What if it's just like, all those people that yeah, we're breaking it. That doesn't exist anymore. You got to move on. I think that they're trying to like cope people through the grief after Endgame.
It's not you, it's us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like a breakup, but they're still giving us new content. But like I watched, we're gonna maybe this is a tangent. I went to go see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings like a couple weeks ago.
I gotta see that.
It was very good. Did not feel like a Marvel movie. It felt like a completely different universe. It was an incredible movie. It was honestly one of my favorites.
Was it set in the actual universe with the timeline and all that stuff still?
But they didn't. So Wong shows up, Wong from Doctor Strange. That's really the only interaction you have between the broader MCU and Shang-Chi. But it was a really good movie. But there's a different feel to Marvel anymore. And so it kind of feels like they're trying to break us out of that. And with other IPs, with other media showing up with Marvel characters like video games now, it kind of feels like Marvel is even more like, yes, there are other universes, which has always been what the comics has been. There's other universes, there's other versions of these characters. So it kind of feels like they're trying to get people into this, like, be okay with whatever version comes out because there really is no canon. And you can kind of accept whichever version is your favorite. Like, people have always had their favorite Spider-Man.
Right.
But they're all Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, they're all Spider-Man. They're just different versions.
Maguire.
Considering how No Way Home is going to turn out, they might all three be Spider-Man in the same universe if the rumors are true.
That'd be interesting.
I still don't know how I feel about that.
I agree with what you're saying. And for me, spoilers, if you haven't seen Endgame, watch it. Okay, so just mute it for 10 seconds. It's been out for like
3 years, dude. Like, at this point, everyone who's going to have watched it has watched it.
The MCU died, in my opinion, with Iron Man.
Yeah, but you loved Iron Man. Iron Man was your linchpin.
He started it, man, and I loved it. I loved everything about his story arc. The way that they rounded his character out was so cool.
Yes.
The whole Marvel series, the whole like group of movies that they had for the 3 phases that they went through in this series, they had it lined up. They knew what they wanted to do, and they executed it to perfection.
Except for Captain Marvel. Anyway, sorry.
True. That is very rare. We've never seen anything like that in movies. Like, they changed how we looked at some of these things, and that is over. They can't keep it going forever.
And I'm glad that they're not trying to.
Right, because it would have eventually fallen off, and they stopped it at the height. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they could have wrote it down a little bit, and they kind of are with having another Guardians of the Galaxy, having a Doctor Strange, having another Thor.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like dwindling it out, but it's not like they're trying to still build up for another big, huge fight, you know, like they did with Thanos. It's sad, but like you said, you got to move on. It's movies, Yeah. And
the name movie.
Move on.
Move on.
Gosh. But it was good. I think they did a really good job and executed it. And that's another rabbit trail.
Yeah,
but
we're talking about video games. I don't know how we got into
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's where the movies and the games collide. Because like I said, I think that Guardians, from what I've heard from the previews and everything, is that they did do a really good job of, within the first, because I think it started, they said 4 hours in to the game.
No, I think they said they got about 4 hours in. One of the two.
Yeah, well, I think it was like they were like, hey, this isn't the very beginning of the game. We're setting you in just a few hours ahead, and you get to play like 90 minutes of it.
Yeah, that also does sound plausible.
And either way, from what I was told, though, in that 90 minutes, they were able to fall in love with these characters and understand, like, okay, this isn't the movie, but these are the same characters.
Yeah.
And you can have fun with that. And I think it's easier to do with a group like that, like Guardians of the Galaxy, than it would be to do with like an Iron Man. If you made an Iron Man movie, his persona would have to be Robert Downey Jr. because that is so still ingrained in our heads unless you did something completely off the rails with that, which, I mean, you could.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem specifically with Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. was really the essence of who Tony Stark was. Like, Tony Stark existed before Robert Downey Jr. ever played him. And then they found RDJ, who really embodied, the reason he did so well is because he basically is Tony Stark. Like, he has that kind of cocky, yet for whatever reason, charming, Like there's something about him that even though he's a complete jerk at the beginning, you still want to root for him and you don't know why. Well, RDJ has that persona. And so now he has been, I feel bad for him as an actor. Like I feel like it's gonna be so hard for him to play anything else.
He did great in Sherlock Holmes. Those
that
movies,
was before Iron Man, wasn't it?
No, it was. But I think if they came out with another one, I think it would blow up. I think people would love it.
I did enjoy the Sherlock Holmes movies.
But like he had done drugs and had done all the things and like kind of got kicked out of a lot of the movie world then. But then Marvel, gave him a chance and they pulled him in and they're like, okay, let's try it. And so that's why I think that it works so well is he was living out his story arc as he was, acting for someone else's exact same story arc, from selfish, playboy philanthropist. Thank you. Can't say
it's a hard word. It's a hard word. It's okay.
And then to, learn how to be a good person. And so I think it was great for him. But that's why I think that if they made an Iron Man video game like that, it'd be a lot harder than they are with Guardians of the Galaxy. They just, I'm excited. I know they're going to hit with it. And I'm so excited to play that come the 28th.
Yeah, I know. That might be one that I just go ahead and pick up, even though I've got a backlog because I want to play through it. I think it'll be fun.
And supposedly you can fly their ship. I'm not 100% sure on that.
This is a cross gen one, right? It's coming out for PS4 too?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I might pick this one up. I might just pick this one up day one because it looks like a lot of fun.
Someone speculated that they thought it'd be cool if it was like a Star Fox type of way to fly the ship. Like if that's kind of how it would be, which would be kind of cool.
That could be cool, yeah.
But
Star Fox always has had really good space
combat. Could you imagine having like kind of flying like Star Fox, but having like the 60s, 70s, like an 80s music?
Yeah, maybe that would 70s, be cool. 80s,
but just like, so you're flying through with the 80s music, doing all this space. Like, I think that would look really cool. I think that would be a lot of fun. Essence of how.
Oh, it definitely would fit the essence of Guardians, 100%.
Right. So I don't know. Who knows how that's all going to work out? But I think.
Can you tell the coffee just hit? Because I think we all of a sudden just were like, whoa, hey.
I'm waking up.
Woo.
Well, this is another rabbit hole, but hey, who cares? So last week, after we got done recording the podcast, I had some not great food, and I was in the hospital. So
yeah, it's not good.
I have not been on my A game the past few days, including this morning when I came in, but this coffee has kind of picked me up. So coffee is medicine. So who knows? Maybe this stuff, if you're feeling sick, drink
it's
coffee.
Magic.
And if you're dehydrated, drink coffee. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
Don't do that. That's why I have a glass of water every time we have a podcast.
Yeah, I probably should start getting water. But, I have water just poured over some nice beans.
Oh, my word. Okay, move on. We got it. Sorry, we feel like we spent a lot of time on that Guardians thing.
Hey, Guardians is amazing. People need to be excited for it. The other game that I'm super excited for that's coming out, though, we have so many games. I'm just going to...
Yeah, this is insane.
Alan Wake Remastered. That actually just came out when you're watching this 2 days ago. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Okay,
Super Monkey Ball.
Those are my two games, though. Those two right there.
Oh, I'm just reading through some.
I know.
Far Cry 6 comes out today, which is going to be a lot of fun. You got Back for Blood on the 12th. The Rift Breaker on the 14th, Crisis Remastered Trilogy, which is, I'm really excited for that, on October 15th, Demon Slayer, the Hikonami Chronicles on the 15th, NHL 22 on the 15th, Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes on the 22nd, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy on the 26th, not the 28th, NASCAR on the 26th, Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water on the 28th, Riders Republic on the 28th, Voice of Cards, The Isle of the Dragon Roars on the 28th, plus a lot flipping more. It is insane how many games are coming out this month, and my wallet is crying because I can't afford them all.
I think the only one that I'm going to be able to pick up is Guardians, and even that I technically can't afford, but I'm probably just going to splurge anyway because
do it anyway. Who needs money?
I haven't bought like a brand like a new release.
Just make your own money.
When have I? Yeah. Okay. Wow.
When you need money, just make more.
Print it.
Print it. That's what the government does.
Editors know the Gamers Roast podcast does not condone counterfeiting in any way, shape, or form before you sue us. It was a joke.
Yes, we do. Do it.
No.
Green construction paper and a black Sharpie, and it'll be perfect. I promise you.
I want to see somebody try that. I don't even feel like you'd get arrested because it would be such a bad job.
He's like, here, $100, promise.
Sorry,
Keep
that
the
reminds me of a tweet I saw that was like they were like me trying to buy a candy bar. Hey, they're like, the cashier's like, hey, that's $1. They're like, I don't have any cash. They're like, well, you can't buy it. Me slides a 20 across the counter. What if we keep this between us? I don't know why. That just makes me laugh. Anyway.
That's awesome. But yeah, there's a bunch coming out, and the games I'm gonna try and get mainly is gonna be the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the Dark Pictures anthology House of Ashes. I'm really hoping to stream that at the end of the month for like a little Halloween special.
That could be fun.
And
I don't usually do horror games, but
it would be a blast
doing it together. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it more clean than the last time you tried to stream a horror game.
Aaron cracked me up. But the game itself is gonna cuss like crazy. We will not.
Unless I get really, 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 really scared. I've never played a horror game. I don't swear, but you know,
who knows, right?
If I am compelled.
Dang it! Now I want to see that. I want to see you just drop the F-bomb. I just want.
I mean, considering who swore the last time you played a horror game, I was surprised. I was really surprised. So.
Cracked me up, man. I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah, so House of Ashes is from the Dark Pictures anthology. I think they have 8 games that they want to put out, and they've produced the Man of Medan. What was the one where they were in that?
I don't know.
A New Hope? No, it was just a Hope. It was Little Hope. Little Hope. Got it. I got it. Little Hope. Little Hope. The thing of hope and little. So this one is called House of Ashes, and they've gotten better. So going from Man of Medan to Little Hope now to House of Ashes. Hopefully House of Ashes takes it up to that next level. And by the time we get that 8th game, it's going to be great. Which they only take about 4 hours to play through. You know, but they're only about $29.99 is usually what they come out at. So they're a smaller experience.
But they're appropriately smaller price.
Yeah, and they come out every single year in October. So it's a nice yearly just play through one and just have a little fun. So I definitely am excited for that. You're soldiers and you fall into a cave from what I can tell, and it's like this underground like ruins type of a deal.
That could be cool.
So yeah, I'm excited to try it out, and hopefully we all can get scared together.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about the 2 games you were going to talk about?
Well, I want to just mention Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, just because I think it's cool to have another Smash type game that actually looks decent, especially because the last time somebody tried to copy the Smash formula was PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and that apparently sucked. So this one looks interesting, and Aang and Korra just got announced as fighters. So I probably won't pick it up because, again, I live by myself, and playing a multiplayer fighting game by yourself is the definition of depressing. But other than that, the 2 games that I was excited for is the Monkey Ball. What is it? Banana Mania?
I think so.
Something like that. I loved Monkey Ball when I was a kid. And
Banana Mania.
This looks like a lot of fun. I don't know. I love Monkey Ball. I think it's a fun pick up and play sort of game. I think it'd be perfect on the Switch because you pick up, you play a few levels, you put it down. Like it's Monkey Ball's other than Banana Blitz. Banana Blitz was not great, but I had Super Monkey Ball 2 when I was a kid, so it's kind of a nostalgic game. And then of course Metroid Dread. I am going to wait a little bit on Metroid Dread. I don't know why I feel like I'm more excited for Guardians than Metroid, which is very weird for me.
Yeah, because I was just telling Josh that watches podcast. I was talking to him the other day, and he was mentioning like how he really likes Metroid and all that, and Castlevania and everything. And I said those were really up your alley.
Metroidvania,
you know? Right?
Yeah.
And those were really up your alley, like that.
I think it's because Metroid Dread looks to be not a slower paced experience, but it's really leaning into the survival horror aspect of Metroid. So it's never been an outright horror game,
right?
But it's always been a dark, isolating sort of game. It makes you feel like you are a lone explorer fighting through this alien planet on your own. It takes a lot of inspiration from the Alien franchise. So Dread looks like it's really leaning into that. So I'm thinking for where I'm at right now, I don't know that I really want a dark, isolating experience. Guardians seems like it's going to be more of a pick-me-up. So I think that's why I'm more excited about Guardians. It looks like it's going to be just a fun, upbeat experience. I will pick up Dread eventually at some point when I've got... And also, correct me if I'm wrong, Guardians looks like it's going to take less time to play through than Dread. It just does. Like, I think it's going to be quicker. Metroid games can, depending on how much of a completionist you are, which I don't like my completionist tendencies, but I have them. Dread looks like it could take a while to get through. So that's another thing.
Well, and this is an RPG, so I mean, who knows how long it could be to get through.
It is Square Enix, so
it depends on you how fast you want to just run through it.
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk, I ran through that in like 20 hours.
Yeah.
But I mainlined the quest that I wanted to play through and ended my game. For other people, like you said, that are completionists, they could play for 200 hours on Cyberpunk and try to find everything. So I mean, it just depends on how, like you were saying, of completionists. You could probably finish Guardians in 20 hours, or make it longer.
I'm gonna have to contest Metroid and Guardians. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up neither one. Maybe I'll just keep working on my backlog.
Oh, you gotta get Guardians, man. That music's gonna be so dope.
Okay,
oh my gosh.
You're trying to influence me. You're trying to influence me, and I love Metroid. See, the problem is, I love Metroid, but I've only played 2 games, and I haven't finished either one. I am terrible at finishing games. I'll get 3/4 of the way through and stop. So I had Super Metroid on my SNES, got about halfway to 3/4 of the way through, stopped. I had Metroid Prime on my GameCube, got about halfway through, stopped. I loved both of them. I loved every moment of both games. I just stopped playing them, and I don't know why. So I feel like I'll be able to commit to Guardians a little bit more than Metroid.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. If a game really draws me into the story, I can do it. But with having a little kid around, 5-month-old baby, for me to be able to work, do the podcast, play games, everything that be with my family, the games I've been able to play recently have been Madden, where I play a football game, and then I set down the controller and take care of my kid. Or last night, I was trying to play my brother-in-law, and we were doing the whole franchise mode. And so I'm sitting there with Joanna. She's sitting on my lap, and I go to throw the ball, and she just taps the button.
Oh, no.
She made a completion for a first down. But I could have got a touchdown. And I was like, no. And my wife's like, what? I'm like, she just threw a pass, and she's like, what happened? Was it intercepted? I was, no, it completed, first down, but I could have got a touchdown. And then she bit the controller and threw another pass, and I was just like, okay, this is difficult. But she really wants to play, man. She's
Well, didn't you
that
say
controller.
that she stole your wife's applesauce the other day too?
Yeah. She's finally learning how to reach and grab stuff. And so that controller, man, she was like, what's this button do? And she was watching the screen. She was like, boom. Whoa. I did that. I'm like, yeah, she's going to be a good gamer. I'm excited.
Oh,
little gamer.
That's really cute, actually.
But so I'm excited for all these games. And especially Guardians. It seems like just a nice game that she can watch and listen to the whole music.
I'm just imagining. Join us, Josh, Wes, and Joanna for Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes.
Man, my wife would kill me.
Oh,
if I
she
let
totally
her with
would.
that.
Rightfully so. But I'm just imagining Joanna be like, whoa.
It's a button kills our character. I'm like, no.
No.
But I'm excited for it. Like I said, hopefully we can stream that this late October, and nice little spoopy Halloween podcast thing.
I'm gonna hate you by the end of the night. I'm gonna be like, why did you make me do this?
Oh, by the end of the night, we'll be doing it late night at midnight.
Oh, because we're gonna play through the whole thing.
So,
bro, can we start at 6? Do we have to? Why? Why do we have to do it at midnight?
8 o'clock at least to get 8 o'clock to midnight type of a stream, man. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. So we'll keep you guys updated on what we're gonna do there. But it's been a really fun Thursday morning with you guys.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun. Drink coffee, talk about games. I could do it all day.
Yeah.
But sadly,
again, sorry we missed the Smash Direct, and it's going to be way old news by the time we get next week. But I'm excited to see who the new Smash Fighter is.
Yeah, we'll definitely mention it next week. I may or may not be here. We'll find out. So,
yeah, we're gonna see.
But hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday, and then enjoy the Friday and weekend. Drink lots of coffee, play lots of games, and just have a wonderful time. Watch some football. See you guys later.